Business Secrets. Today, you have a solo episode with Jimmy, and we're going to be talking how you can launch new profit layers within your business successfully. I'm going to share with you a few stories of my journey launching profit layers in multiple different companies. Now, why you would look to do this is to help your members in a way that you currently aren't, and of course, to increase the revenue of your business. Quite often within a business, people kind of obsess sometimes about owning two, three, four, five, six, like different businesses. When you're launching a new profit layer, it gives you a way to make more money in your current business. Now, when you're launching a profit layer, you can go a couple of different directions. You can obviously go downline. Okay, so you might have like a personal training business at the moment where you're charging $100 to $200 per hour. Now, going down would be launching a semi-private model or potentially a group training model where you can help more people at the one time. But you can also go up levels as well. So one of the levels that you could add in essentially could be really high price nutrition and accountability coaching from anywhere up to $1,000 a month. Now, there are so many different profit layers that you can add within your business. It's just very important, guys, when you are doing this, that you're very, very selective about the profit layer that you are choosing to make sure that it is part of your long-term vision. Because essentially, when you're launching a profit layer, if there's some capital investment that you need to put into this, you essentially are making a 3 to 5 year decision to continue to run this. That's when you're looking at different profit layers, like I know in our journey, when we launched our semi-private training, we had to get rigs and racks and barbells and weight plates. It cost us about $15,000 to set up that profit layer, where we had to think really long-term within that model because there was capital expenditure to be able to set up that type of training. But say when we launched our nutrition and accountability coaching, which was like $49 a week, essentially because we only paid our trainers in terms of the hours that they spent with the client, is it didn't cost too much capital to be able to start up. So that's where sometimes in business you can move quickly, right? So say if you want to launch like a one-on-one nutrition and coaching program, you can move super quickly because you don't have too many overheads. You can essentially launch a beta test like straight after this episode. But if there is one that has capital expenditure, like you've got to put money in, you've got to get equipment and things like that, that's where sometimes you guys have to go a little bit slower. But one of the favorite profit layers that I ever launched, we had like a group training model and then one-on-one. So when I first started in the fitness industry, I was a one-on-one personal trainer. And essentially our business was just one-on-one personal training, which I think is an absolute incredible service. And if you have the ability to with inside your fitness business, especially if you're bricks and mortar, I highly recommend everyone have a one-on-one service if you can. But we had one-on-one, and then we launched like our group training, which is essentially just like a large group boot camp that was run indoors. So our one-on-one personal training was $118 an hour at the time, and our group training was about $65 a week for unlimited access. So one of the things that we wanted to launch was a middle gap. Okay, so something that's not as high priced as one-on-one, that's not as low priced as group training, something in the middle, which we called our Lean and Strong program, which was essentially small group personal training where people got to train at a higher level in a smaller group with more strength based movements than what happened in the large boot camps. So when we kind of first launched that, we had to really like meticulously plan it in terms of making sure we had the space in the facility, making sure that we had the trainers to be able to deliver the service. Then we had to be able to market that service for it to be able to grow. Now, when we're kind of running through that, one of the things that really has worked well for me is that if you can be patient and think long term, right, is generally really, really good stuff that happens in my life when I do that. So what we kind of had to figure out initially is what was our break even point for delivering that service? Because at that kind of stage of business, we didn't have the facility, the capacity to be able to run the service ourselves. So we actually had to like delegate the training as of day one. So we had to know that break even point. And then also as well, we had to know what was our like capital going to be able to kind of launch this service. So then when we were kind of breaking it down, what kind of happened is we tried to move really, really quickly to get to that break even point, which is essentially not an amazing place to be in, but it's certainly better than losing money, right? And then we were able to seamlessly grow that model by +2 members every single week until it got to capacity. Now, there was a lot of lessons that we learned along the way about the way that we had to position that product, the way that we had to run that product, what was the difference in between the group training, the semi-private training, the one-on-one, what was the different caliber of coach that was needed, right? What was the accountability? What was the accountability tools? What was the perfect pricing model? And so we kind of always had to fail our way forward in terms of that. But we're really, really grateful that we did it because we were able to essentially grow that product up to just above 100 members paying us $94 a week. And it was one of the tools and one of the systems and one of the lessons that we did learn in creating one facility that did over $1 million a year in revenue. So guys, when you're looking to add a different profit model, profit layer, I'm going to run through a couple of things that I think about in the hope that it gives you a few tips and a few pointers so that you can do the same. Now, the first thing that I'm always looking for is a proven model. I never want to recreate the wheel in any facet of life, right? If I want to launch a profit layer, I need to know that there is a proven concept of someone somewhere in the world making a shit ton of money and helping a shit ton of people with that profit layer. Now, rather than just having one, I'm looking for multiple people who have been successful with this model. Now, when you're doing that, what I find is it gives me great confidence. It also gives me great understanding of how I can mirror or model those certain different businesses to be as successful as possible. So we want to make sure that when I'm doing it is that I'm choosing a proven model that has been successful for other people in the past. Then I need to get a proven mentor who has built this profit layer. Now, as you get more advanced within business, guys, at the start, I had like a generalized business coach who taught me all things about fitness business, which was amazing, absolutely incredible. But then as we got more advanced, I needed to find specific mentors who have done what I want to achieve in my business. Because obviously there's different mentors who have built amazing group training facilities, boot camps, maybe semi-private, maybe one-on-one, maybe nutrition coaching, potentially want to add an online training component. And that's where we want to find a mentor who has proven systems, again, so we don't have to recreate the wheel in this instance. We can just copy a proven model that has worked for them. And we also want to understand the timeline of success. Again, if I can be really, really patient in life and business, generally the really, really good things happen. Impatience or trying to drive things too quickly or having unrealistic expectations have always led me to a place of despair, frustration, stress, and often anxiety. So what I like to look at, right, is what is my business model, okay, that I'm launching in this new profit layer? What is the break even point? And we obviously want to get there as quickly as possible. And then what does life look like if I add +2 members every single week to this profit layer over a 1-year period, a 3-year period, and a 5-year period? Because I believe that is an adequate timeline for you to see consistent growth within a profit layer. Also, for me, it gives me enough time where I can innovate those systems, okay, along the way, because you will make mistakes in a profit layer, and that's okay. And also, it gives me great understanding of what my business will look like in a 1, 3, and 5-year period when this profit layer has got to capacity or a level that we are happy with. So I'm always trying to extend my timeline so I have an understanding of success. And then, of course, guys, I'm just going to repeat, if you are running this profit layer and you are delegating certain parts of it, also your own time, is you must know a break-even point. Roughly for our kind of break-even points with this, it was just initially kind of covering the salaries that were involved and also the marketing costs. We didn't get crazy too advanced with it. But say in the model that I was talking about called Lean and Strong, I was like, hey, I know as soon as we're earning $1,800 per week, that is going to cover our cost to deliver this service, and then everything over the top of that will be a percentage of profits based on what our increase in our expenditure is for that service, right? So you've got to just make sure that you've mapped that out. And it is really, really handy, guys, in life if you have 3, 6, or 12 months working capital within your business. And what that means is if your monthly expenses are $30,000, for example, is if you have $90,000 in your business, you can be pretty patient. If you have $180,000 sitting in an offset account, you can be even more patient. Now, if you have $360,000, which is 12 months of your working capital, you can be incredibly patient. And I know for me as a business owner, I have a amazing mentor. His name's Charlie, and he kept making me save money in my business. He kept making me do it, and I didn't fucking understand. I was like, man, we could be doing stuff, we could be reinvesting it, all that kind of stuff. And then we're at a stage where we have a very sizable amount of money sitting in an offset account that covers all of our expenses, and it makes you incredibly patient. It makes you incredibly understanding of what the processes are. And I believe it has been one of the things that has helped make me in my mind of being unstoppable, because I know that I have backup plans in place. I know that if we have a bad month, I'm not living on my absolute arse end because we have saved that money in the business. And when you are launching a profit layer like this, the more capital that you have saved within a business, the more patient you can be, and also the more understanding you can be of the processes as well. Now, when we're looking to grow a profit layer, right? Once we've got the proven model, we've got a mentor who's going to kind of just tell us how to do it. We know a timeline of success. We can be patient. We know that if we work hard, we're going to get great results. We know if we're really consistent, that good things happen. And we know that by constantly moving forward every day, that we are going to fail our way forward, and it's going to be absolutely impossible that we cannot be successful with this profit layer. Then we go to the marketing strategies on a launch. Now, this is actually the same launch strategies that we used when we opened a new facility. And it just worked like so well, really, really consistently, that we just kind of kept doing it. And it's kind of never failed us. It's sometimes worked better, sometimes worked worse, of course, but it's kind of like a proven system that I've used on many different models. Now, the first one is we'll use a free trial to our current database. That will be people who aren't currently paying us money, ex-members, lost leads. And potentially, if you're doing an internal upgrade, right, where you're giving your members an option to pay more money for a service, right, is you might be able to get a few upgrades from your current members. Now, generally, as a rule of thumb, you don't want to downgrade people. So if someone's paying you like $500 a month, you don't necessarily want to downgrade them to $250, right? You got to be smart about it. But we're going to release a free trial to our database, right? Now, in your database as well, guys, of people currently not paying you money, you have your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile, maybe you've got TikTok, maybe you've got LinkedIn, maybe you've got a few other different avenues like your mobile phone. You probably got a lot of text messages in there, a lot of contacts. Is essentially we would release a 14 or 28-day free offer to everyone with a pulse who we felt like could benefit from the new service, especially if they aren't currently making us money. One of the things that we would always do when we were launching a new profit layer is within that consultation, we'd give them a $5 or $10 a week discount if they joined on the day. You call that a fast action discount. And if they didn't decide to do that, we'd make sure that their payments are set up auto rolling off the back, which we call the Netflix sale or silent sale, or you would just call like good sales skills where you've wrapped up that sale initially. I come in to do a 14-day trial. My prices are $80 starting in 2 weeks, and you've been able to set that up so it does auto roll. Now, on the duration of the challenge, it depends on the free trial, will depend how quickly we can elicit a result. Right. So if we feel like we could get a result really, really quickly, right, we would only do a 14-day trial. If we felt like it would take a little bit longer to get a tangible result, something that they were proud of, something that made it a no fucking brainer for them to continue, we would do a 28-day free trial. Really just depends on your timelines of success. One of the things in business and life, guys, is the faster you can get someone a tangible result, the more you are worth to the audience that you are helping. It's why one of the big things that we would often do is go, hey, how can we get someone to lose 1 to 2 kilos faster than what we currently are? So we can start to get that tangible result a lot quicker. Obviously, right, if you've watched a fair bit of my content previously, you know we mainly specialize in helping people lose weight. But then in the paid ads component, we'd actually do two things. We'd obviously run our 6-week transformation challenge, which is the offer that I would do currently if I was launching a profit layer publicly, just because it's a little bit better than the little old 28-day that I used back in the day. And that would be essentially a 6-week challenge where people could join up for the service. They get their training, they get a few other bells and whistles, and they just join up at your normal membership price or a slight discount if they pay up front. And to put that into perspective, say if your new profit layers, for in this example, I'm making this training for a gym owner in Melbourne, they're going to launch group training. Let's just say your group training $60 a week. So for 6 weeks, it would be they can pay $120 every fortnight for 3 payments, or they could pay $299 up front. So there's a slight discount if they pay up front, which just helps you monetize your ads a little bit better. And what I mean by that, guys, is your ability to be able to spend like $1,000 on ads and get $1,000 or more back within a 7-day period. What that did for me was help me create a 7-figure business and help me create 3 gyms that did over $2.5 million a year in revenue, because essentially we had a cash flow cycle of 7 days. I put $1,000 in ads. In a 7-day period, we had $1,000 or more back. Means you can start to spend quite freely, and it's where you need to have your offers really, really aligning well and making sure that you are collecting a bit of cash up front when people are starting with you. But then we'll also run a giveaway funnel in the inner circle for those members. It's called the 100 to 0 funnel, and it's essentially where you're giving away a 6-month free membership. The benefit of this is you get a lot of cheap opt-ins, right? People raising their hand, where then you can start to release offers generally for your free 14 or 28-day trial via text, email, and phone call. Because when we're launching this new profit layer, especially if it's a group-based profit layer, we want it to be absolutely buzzing and very, very busy. And then, of course, guys, just finally would be relentlessly focused on getting referrals from our current people doing that when they start. We would just be really honest with them. We go, hey, Jimmy, look, we just started this, new service. We've been planning it for many months. I want to help as many people as you can. Would you know anyone within your network who would like a free trial to train with you when you're just starting out? And then we'd make sure we would build those repeatable referral systems off the back. So guys, I hope that gave you a little bit of understanding and somewhat of a playbook of the way that I launch profit layers within multiple businesses now. If you ever have any questions about this kind of stuff, feel free to reach out to me anytime on social media. I hope that it has given you somewhat of a framework and a few things to think about when you are launching profit layers within your amazing company.